You've been digitally inserted into every single childhood photo. My boyfriend Jake said those words to me on Christmas night, and they destroyed my entire world. I'm staring at what should be an innocent picture of 7-year-old me at a playground, but Jake, who works in digital forensics, is pointing to pixel inconsistencies I'd never noticed. Compression patterns that don't match. Lighting from 2 different sources. That's literally me in the picture, I laughed, but Jake wasn't laughing. He pulled out his phone, opened his analysis software, zoomed to 400%. The shadows are wrong, Em. The lighting is wrong. You weren't there when this was taken. My blood ran cold as I saw the technical evidence I couldn't deny. You know that feeling when something you've seen 1,000 times suddenly doesn't make sense anymore? When your entire reality shifts in a single moment. Growing up, I always felt like a stranger in my own home. Like I existed in a space that wasn't quite meant for me. My parents, David and Sarah, were distant, going through the motions of having a daughter without actually wanting one. When my sister Claire came along, the house filled with warmth I'd never felt. The weirdest part, I have 0 memories before age 6. Nothing. Just dreams of a woman singing lullabies in a language I didn't recognize. Spavage, spavage, morhe de te. I'd wake up crying, missing someone I couldn't remember. It's not normal to have 0 memories before 6, Em, Jake told me once. That's not trauma, that's erasure. But I never imagined the truth would be this devastating. Jake opened every photo album, running analysis on each picture. Every single one. Manipulated. Emma, you need to understand what this means, he said, his voice shaking. Your entire childhood, it's fiction. Someone erased your real life and replaced it with fake memories. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong in your own family photos? I'm about to find out why I never did. Because what Jake discovered that night was just the beginning. The truth about who I really am and who stole me is going to destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. I used to think every kid felt like a stranger in their own home. Turns out, some of us actually are. Emma, you're so independent, Sarah would say whenever I needed help. You never needed as much attention as Claire does, but I did need attention. I needed hugs and bedtime stories. I just learned that asking made everyone uncomfortable, so I stopped. Sometimes I'd catch Claire watching me with this look, like she wanted to say something but couldn't. Nothing, Em, just nothing, she'd say when I asked. I had no idea she was carrying a secret that would destroy everything. The memory gap haunted me. Most people remember fragments from age 3 or 4. Me? Life started at 6 when we moved to Maple Street. The past is complicated, Emma, David would say when I asked. Some things are better left alone. Those dreams were the worst part. Always the same woman singing that Serbian lullaby, her face just out of focus. I'd wake up with tears on my cheeks and this aching feeling, like I'd lost something precious. Who do you think she is? Jake asked after another nightmare. I don't know, I whispered, but I miss her. How can you miss someone you don't even remember? Jake never made my questions feel like too much. When I told him about the memory gap, he didn't brush it off like everyone else. That's not trauma, that's erasure, he said. That word stuck with me, erasure. Like someone had taken an eraser to the first 6 years of my life. After Jake proved my photos were fake, I made a decision. I was going to find out who I really was, even if it destroyed the only family I'd ever known. What's your earliest memory? Mine should have started at 3, maybe 4. Instead, there's nothing. That night, I decided to start with the immigration documents I'd never been allowed to see. I had no idea what I was about to uncover. The thing about secrets is that once you start looking for them, you find them everywhere. And what I found in my parents' locked filing cabinet would change my life forever. Saturday afternoon, David and Sarah at their weekly grocery run, Claire at her boyfriend's. The house was mine. Their filing cabinet was in the bedroom closet, bottom drawer locked. I found the key taped under David's desk. Apparently I'd inherited his terrible security habits, along with his stubbornness. The drawer opened with a soft click that sounded like thunder, immigration papers everywhere. But these told a different story than I'd been told. We supposedly came from Bosnia as war refugees, a family seeking a better life, but there was a folder labelled Child Placement Documentation. Inside, an email thread from 2003. Placement fee, $200 USD as discussed. Child is healthy, age 5, English minimal but learning quickly. I stared at those words until they burned into my brain. Child placement fee, $200. Was I bought like property? The thought made me physically sick, but I kept digging. More emails, more documents. Then something that made my hands shake, a printed Facebook message thread in a language I didn't recognize. The name Maria P. was visible. Heart emojis, crying faces, photos of a little girl who looked exactly like me. For a moment I felt relief. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was just an ungrateful daughter questioning parents who'd saved me. Maybe there was an innocent explanation. But then I found the document that changed everything, buried in David's computer files. Mila Kovač, age 5, transferred custody, March 15th, 2003, 3 weeks before my supposed arrival in America. Mila Kovač, not Emma Morrison. I stared at that name, and for the first time in my life, something felt right, like a key finding its lock. I took pictures of everything, hands trembling. Then I heard the garage door. They were back early. I shoved everything back, locked the drawer, ran upstairs. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst. At dinner, I watched them differently, David avoiding eye contact, Sarah's smile never reaching her eyes. "The past is painful, Emma," David said when I mentioned our homeland. "We came here to forget, not to remember." "But I don't remember anything to forget," I said sharply. "That's the problem." Sarah patted my hand. Her touch felt cold. "Some doors are better left closed, sweetheart," but I was done with closed doors. That night I called Jake, told him about the placement fee, the mysterious messages, the name Maria P. "We need to find out who she is," I said. "Em, are you ready for what we might find?" I thought about those dreams, the woman singing in a language I felt in my bones. I think I've been ready my whole life. The next morning I started searching, and what I found would shatter everything I thought I knew about my identity. The name Mila Kovač haunted me for 3 days. I'd whisper it in the shower, write it on scraps of paper, search for it obsessively online. Then Jake came over with his laptop and a look that meant he'd found something big. "I need to show you the full extent of what they did," he said, setting up his computer. "Every single childhood photo has been manipulated. You were copy-pasted from one original image into dozens of fake family memories." He showed me the technical proof, compression artifacts, wrong lighting angles, digital fingerprints of manipulation. That's when it hit me. The horrible, beautiful truth. I wasn't adopted. I wasn't rescued. I wasn't saved. I was stolen. And for 20 years they made me grateful for it. So none of my childhood was real? "Oh, it was real," Jake said grimly. "Just not with them." He pulled up a new browser window. I searched for Mila Kovač missing and found this. A missing persons report from 2003, posted on a Serbian website. The photo was grainy but unmistakably me at 5 years old. Missing child, Mila Kovač, age 5, last seen March 15th, 2003, in Belgrade. Contact Maria Kovač with any information. Maria, the same name from the Facebook messages. There's more. David and Sarah applied for refugee status claiming to have a dependent child. But, Em, there's no record of you entering the country legally. The room spun. I gripped the table. What does that mean? They didn't adopt you through proper channels. They just took you, then created a paper trail to make it look legitimate. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. When I came back, Jake was holding another printed email. From David's deleted folder, 2003, right after you supposedly arrived. The email was brief. Package delivered successfully, child adapting well, payment cleared as agreed. Package. They called me a package. I started hyperventilating. Then, like a dam bursting, memories flooded back. A fluorescent lit office. A woman crying, not Sarah, someone else with dark hair and kind eyes. A man speaking broken English. She good girl. You take care, yes? And me, screaming, reaching for the crying woman. Mama! Mama! In a language that felt like home. I remember, I gasped. I remember her, my real mother. She was crying. She didn't want to let me go. But first, I had to confront the people who'd stolen my life. Dinner that night. Claire was there. Perfect. I wanted everyone to hear this. I found some interesting documents today, I said, pulling out the papers. David's face went white. Sarah's fork clattered. Emma, you had no right. Private? I cut her off. These are about me. About Mila Kovač. That's my real name, isn't it? Silence. Claire looked confused. We saved you, David finally said. We gave you opportunities. You kidnapped me. You bought me for $200 and erased my identity. I found the emails, Sarah. Package delivered successfully. That's what you called me. Claire's eyes went wide. What are you talking about? They're not our parents, Claire. They stole me from my real family when I was 5. But Claire's face crumpled. Not shock. Recognition. You knew, I whispered. I was 12, she said, voice breaking. I found photos hidden in Dad's desk. You crying in every one, reaching for someone off camera, screaming in a language I didn't understand. She wiped her eyes. I kept them. All these years, as insurance. She'd been protecting me all along. David stood abruptly. We gave you a good life. We loved you. You loved having a child for your immigration status, but you never loved me. I stood there looking at these strangers who'd raised me, who'd stolen 20 years of my life, and felt nothing. No anger, no love, just emptiness. What do you do when the people you called family turn out to be strangers? When love and lies become impossible to separate? I knew what I had to do. That night, after hours of crying and Jake holding me while I fell apart, I made the call that would change everything. 911, what's your emergency? My voice was surprisingly steady. I need to report a kidnapping that happened 20 years ago. I'm the victim. Detective Martinez and Detective Chen arrived within an hour. Young, kind eyes and older, serious demeanour. They listened without judgment as I showed them everything. Unusual, but not unheard of, Martinez said. We've seen fraudulent adoptions from war-torn regions. They were taking notes, treating this like the crime it was. For the first time in days, someone believed me. Then the doorbell rang. David's voice in my hallway. We need to talk to Emma. This has gone far enough. They knew. Somehow they knew I'd called police. Detective Chen stepped forward as David and Sarah entered. Their faces went white, seeing the uniforms. Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, we'd like to ask some questions. What happened next shocked everyone. Instead of denying everything, Sarah broke down completely. We didn't have a choice, she sobbed. We needed a child for immigration status. Couples with children got priority processing. We were going to be deported. David grabbed her arm. Sarah, don't. No, I'm tired of this secret. We were desperate. We found someone who could help. And yes, we paid money, but we gave her a good life. Detective Chen was writing everything down. "Mom, are you confessing to child trafficking?" "We saved her," David exploded. "Her mother was desperate. She sold her to us for $200, willing to give up her own child for money." I felt slapped. "You're lying." "We have the receipt," Sarah said through tears. "She signed the papers willingly. Mila Kovač took our money and handed you over like you were nothing." Everything I'd believed about being stolen from a loving mother. Was it wrong? "Emma, we'll need to investigate these claims," Martinez said sympathetically. "International cases are complex when money changed hands." "So I was bought like property?" "We loved you," Sarah insisted. "We raised you. That has to count for something." "Love doesn't legalize kidnapping," Chen said coldly. Then Claire spoke up from the corner. "They're lying about the receipt, about Mom signing willingly." Everyone turned. "I've been collecting evidence for years," Claire continued, pulling out her phone. Photos of Emma crying herself to sleep, recordings of them discussing how to keep her quiet, documents proving the adoption was never finalized legally. She looked at me with tears. "I was scared, but I kept everything, just in case." Martinez took Claire's phone. "This evidence could be crucial." David's face went red. "You're destroying this family, Claire. They destroyed it the day they stole a 5-year-old child." She shot back. As detectives prepared to take David and Sarah for questioning, I made a decision that surprised everyone. I pulled out my phone, opened Facebook, typed with shaking hands. "Hello, my name is Emma Morrison, but I think my real name is Mila Kovač. I think I'm your daughter." I attached the missing person's photo and hit send. The response came within minutes. "Mila? Mohamala Mila? Is it really you?" 20 years of searching was over. The video call happened at 3 a.m. Maria was 8 hours ahead in Serbia, awake all night since my message. When her face appeared on my laptop, I understood why I'd been dreaming about her for 20 years. She looked like me. Same dark eyes, stubborn chin, way of tilting her head. But 20 years of grief had aged her. Lines around her eyes, grey threading through her hair. "Mila," she whispered, and 20 years of silence shattered in that word, Mohamala Mila. The sound of my real name in my mother's voice was like hearing music after a lifetime of silence, like breathing after drowning. "Mama," I whispered back in Serbian, the word coming naturally. "I dreamed about you. I heard you singing to me." We both reached toward our screens, pressing palms against glass like we could touch across the ocean. "I kept your room exactly as you left it," she said through tears. "I knew you'd come home someday. Tell me what happened, the truth." Maria took a shaky breath. "March 2003. I had to file refugee application papers. My neighbour Svetlana offered to watch you. When I returned, you were gone. She said Americans had come, that you went with them to process papers. I believed her because I was desperate to get us both to safety." "Did you take money from them?" I had to know if David and Sarah were telling the truth. Her face crumpled. "Svetlana told me later they offered her money, $200. But I never saw it, Mila. I never agreed to anything. They used my desperation against me." Relief flooded through me. My mother hadn't sold me. She'd been betrayed too. "I went to every police station, refugee camp, embassy office, posted your picture everywhere. For 20 years I never stopped looking." She showed me a thick folder, papers, photos, correspondence with missing children organizations worldwide. 20 years of searching documented in heartbreaking detail. "I want to learn Serbian again. I want to remember who I was." "You're both Emma and Mila," Jake said softly. "You don't have to choose." Maria smiled through tears. "You are my Mila and the strong woman you became. Emma made you survive. Mila will bring you home." The case moved quickly. David and Sarah pled guilty. 5 years prison, deportation, lifetime entry ban. Love doesn't excuse kidnapping, Detective Martinez said. Claire chose to stay. Born here, she'd been a victim too. We're still figuring out our relationship. Not sisters, not strangers. Something in between. She protected me when it mattered most. The day the judge read their sentence, I felt empty. Not satisfied, just empty. 20 years built on lies, and no justice could return those years. But then Maria's visa was approved. 6 months later, I stood in JFK's international arrivals, holding a sign, "Welcome home, Mama," in Serbian. When she walked through those doors, when she ran toward me crying, "Mila, Mila," that's when I finally felt whole. She brought a suitcase. Inside were letters, dozens I'd written as a child before David and Sarah forbade mentioning my old life, letters they'd intercepted and hidden for 20 years. "Dear Mama," one read in my 5-year-old handwriting, "I miss you. When are you coming to get me? The new Mama and Papa don't sing to me like you did." Reading those letters, seeing that little girl's pain, I finally understood the full scope of what they'd stolen from both of us. But we had each other now, and that was everything. 1 year later, I'm making Serbian coffee the way Maria taught me. She lives next door now, teaching me to make ajvar from scratch like her grandmother did. "Food is memory," she says, grinding roasted peppers by hand. Every recipe carries our history. Being Serbian isn't just language. It's cevapi on Sunday mornings, tamburica music, kissing 3 times when greeting each other. My name is legally Mila Kovač again. Months of paperwork, but worth it. When that new driver's license arrived, I cried for an hour. "I exist," I told Jake, sobbing over plastic. "Officially, legally, I exist as myself for the first time in 20 years. I fell in love with Emma, but I'm marrying Mila. All of you," he said. "Our wedding is in 3 months. Maria will walk me down the aisle, a moment I never thought I'd have. Claire comes for dinner every Sunday. We're figuring out what we are, not sisters, not strangers, something in between. She's in therapy, working through guilt about staying silent." "I was just a kid too," she said last week. "I was scared they'd get rid of me if I caused trouble." "You were protecting yourself. I understand now. We were both victims of their lies in different ways. I don't read David and Sarah's letters anymore. Jake throws them away. Some wounds don't need reopening. Here's what I've learned about revenge. Sometimes it isn't destruction. It's reconstruction. Taking back what was stolen and building something beautiful from wreckage. I volunteer with organisations helping trafficked children and separated families. Maria and I speak at conferences. We've helped reunite 3 families so far, working on a 4th. Last month we discovered David and Sarah weren't the only ones. Other couples adopted children through the same network. Other stolen children, now adults, who have no idea who they really are. So our work isn't done. My story ends here, but the fight for justice continues. Every child deserves to know where they come from. Every parent deserves to hold their child again. I lost 20 years, but I found myself. Sometimes the greatest revenge is living your truth and helping others find theirs. Should we tell Maria's 20-year search story next? Let me know in the comments if you want to hear about the mother who never gave up hope. If this moved you, please share it. Thousands of children are still missing, still searching for their real families. Your share might help one find their way home. Family isn't just blood or documents or who raised you. It's love, truth and courage to fight for what's right. It's never giving up hope. It's coming home to yourself, no matter how long the journey takes. My name is Mila Kovač. I was stolen at 5 but found my way back. If my story helps even one person find their way home, every moment of pain was worth it. This is my truth, my revenge, my victory.